No, please don't. Next coming up is our man from excuse me, I'm sorry. Our man from Down South Football Podcast, Ben Dennis, aka I am DJ Double Dose from the Down South Football Podcast. Welcome to the Golden Boot. What's going on, Ben?
Fight.
Oh, my bad. I hit the wrong one. My bad.
You on mute, Ben. You on mute. You on mute. You still on mute.
You're muted,
You're on
bro.
mute,
You're
Muted.
Oh, what up, fellas? My bad. I had y'all on mute. I was making sure that then none of my comments or none of my little steam and shit came out. I was in the backstage. You know what I'm talking about, man? And before we even get started, man, your man that said we wasn't good in the red zone.
Oh.
And let me holler at you,
okay.
Going into the season, Florida State has scored 32 straight times in the red zone, which is fifth in the nation. Longest streak in the nation. I'm just saying, you know, before we get into that, that's just one thing I wanted to defunct. You know what I'm talking about? Because you said we ain't good in the red zone. I'm like, hold on, brother. I don't know which FSU you was watching. But, brother, we score in the red zone. Now, outside of that, that's a whole story. That's a whole story outside of that. What's up, fellas, man? How y'all doing tonight,
Hey,
man?
somebody got a bone to pick with you. They've been telling me all week. Say, I got a bone to pick with him. I want you to put all my comments up.
Okay,
So-
what we got?
so-
I already know who I got beef with.
They said DJ Single Dose represents the entire.
I already know who that is. You know, these thoughts and views are not football podcast. These are expressly owned by Benjamin Dennis. Okay, I just want to let y'all know that. You know, what I'm saying?
That man said you went back to the Jimbo era.
Man, I already know. I ain't fooling with Tony, man. I ain't fooling with him, man. Everybody know Jimbo was my guy. I ain't want Jimbo to leave, but that's a whole nother. We can have a whole pod about that. You know,
Man,
you
can have Willie back.
Jimbo to leave. I'm sitting up here looking like now. Y'all see what it look like, don't you? See what it look like on the other side.
I got a question about that. We're gonna get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I want to do this. I want to get some pleasantries out the way. When at Media Day, SWAT Media Day, we met, you know what I'm saying, we met y'all, me and Ant. We you know what I'm saying, we were a little nervous. Ant was, you know what I'm saying, he didn't know where to go. I was still cool as a coupon, but we all know that.
This guy right here, bro.
But nah, man, we know what I'm saying, again, on camera, for everybody to say, I want to say thank you to you, you know what I'm saying, Renard, Tuck, Dave, you know what I'm saying, y'all, you know what I'm saying, really filled us in on stuff to, you know what I'm saying, hey, look forward to next year and everything, and, you know what I'm saying, help us this year. So I, you know what I'm saying, appreciate that. But now that's out the way, hey, gloves on, let's go.
Where we headed?
Hey,
where we headed?
But seriously, hey, quick one. How did you become I'm not LSU, I'm sorry. How did you become a Florida State fan?
It was, you know what, the crazy part about it was, I'm sure we all around the same age. So I probably was about, this was 93. This was when Charlie Ward was doing this thing. And, you know, you weren't seeing a lot of black quarterbacks on TV, especially doing their thing. So, you know, I'm like, okay, this guy, you know, FSU was doing good. And then I talked to my pops and he was like, you know, Bobby Bowden is from Birmingham. And I was like, what? And, you know, one of the high schools that Bobby Bowden went to now is a predominantly black high school. But when Bobby Bowden went, that's called Woodlawn. But when Bobby Bowden went there, it was Birmingham was a little different back then. So when my pops put me on that, you know, I'm looking at Charlie Ward, and then I'm knowing he from the crib. That was it. I've been locked in ever since.
Not for the LSU fans, not the Woodlawn that Ricky Collins is at. There's a Woodlawn in Birmingham. So I think they did a movie about that recently too.
They did. It was a couple of years ago. They did.
A couple years ago, yeah. So all right. So you brought up Jimbo. So
yes, sir.
Know you're a Jimbo fan. It was something I've always wondered. Wait, so this is going to be a very inspirational story.
Go on.
So when Jimbo left, it was under my, at least from the outside looking in, non-Florida State fan, that he left the program in a way worse situation than he received.
He did leave it in a way worse situation he received it in, but the problem was he checked out. And any Florida State fan or anybody inside the program will tell you that last year, he pretty much checked out. He stopped recruiting. And you heard it from the recruits. Like you had guys that was like came mid-October, they weren't getting no phone calls from the staff, nothing like that. He pretty much, you know, a lot of people want to bring up, they say the Alabama game is what broke the program. I tell them, nah, it wasn't an Alabama game. Go back to the year before and what Louisville did with us. That's when you knew that we weren't the same, that we weren't the same FSU. You knew that then, because I mean, even though it was a road game, Lamar did numbers on us. So I know a lot of Bama fans want to be like, oh, we broke your program. Look at that Louisville. Y'all didn't hang what Louisville hung on us. That game was closed until halftime, so we'll leave that alone. But yeah, he did leave it his last cup. And then also, Jimbo had started recruiting stars. He wasn't recruiting positions of need. So a lot of people would always say, oh, FSU is low that talent, they low that talent. But then when you break the team down, yeah, we got a bunch of wide receivers and cornerbacks, but as you have seen over the years, the O-line suffered. And it also suffered behind him not wanting to let his homeboys go. You had an old guy in Trickett who was a great offensive line coach for a long time, but his techniques and things got older. So a lot of those things factored into it. So when he left the program and you bring in Willie T, he thinking like, oh man, you know, they got a lot of talent. But when you look at the space of where the talent is it a lot of talent or is it a lot of talent in one spot? Yeah. And that kind of was what the issue ended up being or has been.
You know what, Ben, I would also say that I think Jimbo kind of gets in his way too, because whenever you're talking about running the offense, his offense nowadays is just so old and it needs to be updated. So
it sound like Les Miles. What you just said, bro. Recruiting stars and not position the lead. The trenches been your downfall, and the offense that is antiquated. That sounds like Les Miles to me.
Yep.
All right. So let's talk about your current coach.
Okay. Mr. Cornrows himself.
Manicure toes. What was it? Arkansas State, Arkansas Central, wherever he was at.
Yeah. Central Arkansas.
There you go.
Tuck says boring. And
you really want to talk about Harsin? Exactly.
And then and Tony said, "What's in that cup, Ben?"
You already know. Y'all already know what time it is when it comes to me. Y'all know it's Crown Royal all day, every day. You already
go.
I missed this early. He said, "Nah, bro, you a lot older than him."
You better not. You know what? You talking all this because you ain't coming this weekend. You told me you was gonna let me know about work. You ain't coming this weekend. You ain't gonna be in New Orleans this weekend. That's why you talking like that.
But let me. All right. So Mike Norvell.
Okay.
It's been said several times he's on the hot seat. How do you feel about him?
I'm gonna say this. We stuck with him. I mean, because Florida State is not a program that, I mean, I know everybody wants to bring up, man, when they got ready to get rid of Willie T, they came in with the money overnight. It was like a back alley room after the Wake Forest game. You know, then once they was meeting then the Miami game happened and he was gone. All right, cool. But let's be real, people. We cannot afford to sit around here and pay Willie T, pay Mike Norvell his buyout, and whatever the new coach is going to want. So we stuck with him. Now, unless he messed around and go out here and win 2-3 games, anything other than that, money-wise, we can't do anything about it.
Now, Ben, you guys are Florida State, man. I mean, if Prime wants to leave Jackson State, you telling me you guys are not going to pony up any money to go get Prime?
First of all, hold up, Daniel. Let me help you out. Daniel, think about it. They got outbid for Travis Hunter.
By Jackson State.
By Jackson State.
Oh, wait a minute.
Apparently.
Hold on. He played for the love. He went for the love. He went for the love.
But that was love. That was one of the silliest things I had ever heard fans comment and say that Jackson State paid him. So wait, Jackson State outbid Florida State?
Right.
Make in what world make it make sense? But
But now I want to see what he say though about that question though. So
when it comes to Prime, I mean you have to think about it like this. You know, like I said, again, to go back to my point, what kind of figure would Prime command? And if you're talking about, like I said, you still got Willie T on the books, and Norvell got a highest buyout too. So you talking about both of those buyouts, you still gonna be paying, and whatever ticket is gonna cost to get Prime to come there, man, we still trying to get a football on the facility. Yeah, we still trying to get a football. Think about that for a minute. We still trying to get a football on the facility. We still ain't got there yet. They working on it.
So let me ask you: as with all the talent that Florida State put in the NFL, do those Jalen Ramsey, Derwin James, do you know what I mean? Do Jameis Winston, do those guys like give back to the or is it more like my coach gone, so it is what it is?
It's kind of a mixture of both. When Willie T came that first year, everybody was excited. I mean, you saw Prime even at the game when we played Southern Miss down there. Prime was there on the sideline with him. Everybody was excited when Willie T came. But the way they handled the Willie Taggart, but the way they handled that situation kind of rubbed a lot of us, the wrong way. So it's kind of like,
Could it also been that the way they handled the Prime situation also?
Well, if you want to be technical, at the time, like we've heard, Deion hadn't had his degree yet. It's that little technicality about not having a degree. You couldn't be a head coach, whatever loose technicality that was. So at the time they used that as an excuse not to go fully.
Uh-oh. We lost him for a second. Take him down. Oh, hold on. Here you go. There you go. Oh, we lost you for a second.
Oh, you good. You good. They probably like, yeah, we probably should have did what we needed to do, whatever that was. But I think right now with Prime at Jackson, I don't see him dipping until both his sons leave at a minimum. I don't see him leaving before then.
Well, he got a daughter there now too.
Yeah, I don't. While this kid's there, I can't see him dipping. I can't.
Yeah.
That's why I shop at Lowe's.
Yeah, so because somebody asked about asked Auburn about and that's what Tuck is commenting on. Says every time you build a deck out of wood, you buy, you help contribute to that. Yeah.
For those of you don't, that's why I shop at Lowe's. I don't mess with
those of you who don't know. Yellowhammer Wood is the owner is a big Auburn contributor. So you mentioned Norvell. You say you're stuck. So I guess this question may be null and void, but how many wins does it take for Norvell to keep his job? Or let me rephrase that, since you said how many? I ain't gonna say that. How many to keep the fans at least content?
To keep them content, at a bare minimum, he needs to win 6.
Okay.
Because that's a bowl. Like we haven't been to a bowl in the last 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? So to keep them at a minimum, because I don't think that's really gonna keep them at bay. But it's like, hey, I've improved each year. I won 2, then I won this, and then now I done won 6. That's he can use that as say, hey, look, that's progress. You know what I'm saying? That it's slow progress, but it's progress. But I think to really keep everybody off his back, if he could somehow pull off 8 and go 8-4, and your losses is to Clemson, Miami, NC State, and Florida, LSU. It's like, all right, those are 3 of the favorites, and then you got Florida come out of the SEC. Everybody kind of get a ball from with that.
Yeah. So you forgot LSU, but we slide.
So you're saying a bowl game is a successful season for Florida State?
At this point, yeah. I mean, how could anybody that's anybody?
I'm with you. I just that was kind of my question. What is a successful season? But you kind of said, we need to make it to a bowl game, pretty much.
Now you got some people out there who talking crazy, but anybody that really is involved and really deep in the program and know what's going on, yeah, man. Like I heard the guys talking about earlier about Duquesne. I mean, everybody saw the debacle with Jacksonville State last year on the national stage.
Right.
Like, nobody's gonna brag about winning 47-7, but you would be a damn faker if you sit around talking about you weren't happy about the win after what happened last year. You put up 47 points against somebody you was supposed to beat. Yeah. I mean, it's Duquesne. It ain't nothing to brag about, but you went out there and you won. You didn't piddly around and you won the game. And coming out the last year, hey, you better be happy about it.
Right. Yeah. Now, I would say this is game week for us.
Yes, sir.
Game 1. Mm-hmm. What's your concerns for LSU, man? What you think?
My concern is LSU's D-line and what they're going to do to our offensive line. We already are on. Hey, we on the pod. We're going to keep it real. We on center number 3.
Wow.
Darius Washington. And he's not a center. I'm just gonna leave that alone. He's not a center. We had Maurice Smith and we had, I think, Caden Lyles. I forget the cat we got, the transfer we got. They both done got hurt. Maurice Smith stayed hurt. You know what I'm saying? They both have gotten hurt. So in the game yesterday, we got Darius Washington starting at center. He's not a center, but he's a body, and that's what they're using. So, you know, when you look at, we had 3 backs go over 100 yards yesterday. Okay, that was Duquesne. You got
missed tackles.
Right. And if you watch the game, it's like they still, I mean, look, you know me, I keep it real. They still was penetrating. A lot of them missed tackles wasn't in the open field. A lot of them missed tackles was behind the line of scrimmage. So it's like, you know, that is a massive concern. A big concern.
Hold on, because we're gonna flip side a bit, but Tony said Jimbo had rubbed some former players the wrong way as well. Then, you know, Jimbo and X-Rose weren't seeing eye to eye.
Dion wasn't even coming down there when Jimbo was there. He right. He 1,000% right. If you go back and you think about the Jimbo era, if you think about the 13 championship team and you think about the 14 playoff team, you ain't got no pictures of Dion around there ripping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so Tony is 1,000% correct.
Well, could it be because of the way Jimbo was, you know, running the program? You know, we all know about the stuff that happened under his watch down there. You know, could it be that ain't, you know, Bobby Bowden that ain't how we rocked on the Bobby, and you kind of got the program, you know, the inmates running the program, you know, so to say. So I'm
gonna go deeper with you. It's how Jimbo got the job. There's a lot of people who did not like how
they forced out Bobby.
Yeah. So a lot of his players, of Bobby's players did not like how they forced out Bobby. Even though Jimbo was the coach in waiting, there was a lot of players who did not like how Bobby was forced out. So a lot of them guys
they thought Jimbo was finna leave somewhere else and didn't want to wait too much longer. You know what I mean?
And ultimately he uses it as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And they all knew it.
Of course.
I mean, if we as fans knew it, how in the hell y'all people that's paying this man money didn't know that he kind of was using us as a stepping stone?
But was it worth it? I mean, you got a national championship out of it.
Hey, I take it.
All right. Now you talked about some concerns. What are some positives that you can take out of this versus for LSU?
The positive I take about it is Jordan Travis has finally had a complete offseason. A lot of people wonder, like, what kind of happened with the blunder last year with Jacksonville State. Jordan Travis he's been hurt the last 2 seasons going into camp. He hadn't been healthy. And even going into last year, you saw it in the Notre Dame game. He got hurt. His durability is an issue. He got hurt. That's why you had the McKenzie Milton magic that came in, you know what I'm saying, for a few drives and did what he did. So this was really the first complete offseason Jordan Travis had, and he didn't have to look over his shoulder. They gave him confidence. They pretty much, because I'm telling you right now, if y'all put Jordan Travis out, I'm walking out. I got tickets to the game. I'm telling you right now, if Jordan Travis get put out, I'm leaving, because Tay Rodemaker, I digress. So it's kind of one of them situations. They don't put a lot of their baskets into Jordan Travis. They've given him the confidence. They didn't bring in a transfer, which they could have, and they didn't. So it's like, hey, we believe in you, kid. This is like your 4th year in college, because, you know, he was at Louisville first. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, look, we believe in you. We giving you the keys to the offense. You healthy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So
Tuck says you ain't leaving them tickets too high.
Hey, look, listen, I'm in New Orleans, baby. You know what I'm saying? I can go drink. It's fine. So, you already know how I do. I can go drink. I'm not watching tape.
So defensively, you defensively, what are your you know, the positives for y'all defensively going into this game, you would say?
Defensively, the positive is the same with y'all was the defensive line. I mean, we got Jared Burse, who came in from Albany. Still got you got Big Coop, who came back. Fabian Levitt came back because of an NIL deal, and you got McClendon. That, to me, seeing what they're going to be able to do, because you go out and you get Jared Burse behind the game. Basically, when I got him behind the game he had against Syracuse. He had an all-world game against Syracuse, and he went in the transfer portal. He was arguably one of the number 1 defensive prospects in the portal. You go out and get him. He's not, and FSU fans, listen to me. He is not Jermaine. Jermaine was a freak of nature. He ended up being a first-round draft pick, so stop it.
But isn't he more of like a just strictly pass rusher guy though? You know what I mean? Like he got some work to do to kind of get what Jermaine was at.
And you saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
There was a couple of runs who Kane got off yesterday where he just didn't set the edge like he was supposed to. He didn't. Right. But I look at the D line and I say, can they do enough to keep? Well, we'll find out tomorrow if it's Jaden Daniels, but it should be if they keep Jaden Daniels, somewhat in check.
Well, and how confident are you in you guys' secondary? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, our wide receiver room, pretty talented.
It's arguable. I'm gonna say it on the podcast. Forget it. I know they were like, nah, it's Ohio State. No, it's the. I was listening to y'all yesterday. I wrote down some numbers, and I'm looking at y'all are 4 deep. Butte, Neighbors, Beck, Jenkins. Y'all are 4 deep.
You might keep going. Keep going. Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton, Kyron Lacey. You know what I mean?
Ray Jenkins.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. And I'll say this: the secondary is what it is. But if y'all see number 7 on the field, Jaren Jones, solution, my brother, transfer that we got from Mississippi State. It's about time for my brother to go ahead and head on by this business. He only started yesterday because of Marlon Cooper, for whatever reason, didn't play. And literally, like the first 2 plays of the game, when he was in the Duquesne went at him, and it was like Jerry and Jones, this is why you're not.
Yeah, I'll say this. There was a play, I think in the first quarter, they had like a 30-yard post move, and he had the DB beat. He just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them.
Our receivers ain't dropping it.
I know it. And that's why when everybody was hollering about, I heard a lot of people say, a lot of FSU fans say, Jaden Daniels, he's not accurate. He this, he that. I'm like, have y'all seen their receivers? All he got to do is get it in the radius. That's all he got to do. Like, he's not at Arizona State anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's in a situation where, like, dog, get it in the radius, and there you go. Exactly.
Right. That's true? 5'8"?
Yeah, that's about true. Yeah.
Wow.
Outside of Sam McCall, who's a freshman, and Isaiah Thomas, we short.
So Ben, let me go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, let me say this also. You guys have a couple of talented running backs. We're not just gonna act like you guys don't have talent or we get too big headed. You guys have talent, and they showed it. They displayed it yesterday. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Benson. There was a lot of questions about him because when he was at Oregon, he didn't play a lot because he had a bad injury that he had in high school, and then so when he pretty much was at Oregon, he was rehabbing, getting it together. Yeah. But the dog of that group to me is Trayshawn Ward. He was a walk-on. This kid was a walk-on, and he fought his way all the way to the point now he's a lead dog.
If you see that boy in the hole, just prepare for the spin move because that's all he did yesterday.
I know,
spin on everybody.
Like he was just like patient, hit it, spin, and he out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the running back. And like I said earlier, I don't know, a couple of guys mentioned it. That is our identity. That's it. He was right. The guy said that if Jordan Travis throws the ball 30 times, y'all win. He was 1,000% correct because we're not a throwing team. Our wide receivers are. They're journeymen. It's just like
I was just about to ask you about your. Because you got the transfer. I know, but y'all brought in transfer. You brought in 2 Pac-12 guys. You brought in Michael Pittman, and then you brought in the basketball player Wilson.
With Janet Wilson, whatever from Arizona State.
Johnny Wilson, but he got banged up yesterday. He got hurt yesterday though.
One catch, he gets hurt.
Yeah. So if he, I know he had an ankle, some kind of ankle injury. If he doesn't play. What I know you said y'all want to be a running team, but if y'all get into an obvious passing situation, or if y'all get to a situation where y'all down 14 or whatever, like how do you feel confidence-wise with y'all being able to come from behind or being able to win with Jordan Travis? I know you just said if he throw 30 times, y'all ain't gonna, but is it one of them things where he can't throw it 30, like he can't win from the pocket, or y'all just don't have the talent around him for him to do that?
I'm gonna say this, one of the transfers that they went out and got the only one that was quote unquote, because Johnny Wilson, Michael Pittman, Deuce Spann, those are 3 receivers they went out and got. All of those guys were guys that was, they weren't really starters. The one guy they went out and got a wide receiver that was starter was Winston Wright. He led West Virginia with receptions. He had he would have been the guy. He would have been a proven guy. Gets in a car wreck in spring. So right now he's rehabbing. So now you're down to, is Malik McClain going to make that next step? You saw Portier yesterday, who's been in the program almost 3 years, but can he do that against a talented LSU team? Now, he did it against Duquesne, but can he do that against a talented LSU team? And then when you say, can Jordan Travis win from the pocket? I mean, the only throw I seen Jordan Travis make from the pocket where I was like, okay, if he continues to do that, was the 4th and 17 against Miami last year when he hit Parchment and put us on the 1. That one, he got protection, he stood in the pocket, and he let it rip, and it was a great throw. But, again, if we're down 14, that's going to be a hard hill to climb with that receiving core. It just is.
Ben, I would say my concerns for you guys is, if our defensive line doesn't play discipline, I really think your running back, your running scheme and your quarterback can kill us. Travis can kill us. So that's my concern for us.
Yeah, I wanted to pivot. I want to ask y'all a question about how do y'all feel about y'all tight end room? Because we know in the past with Brian Kelly, he has always had that guy at the tight end. Yeah. So when you go back and you look at the times that we played Brian Kelly, you go back, you take it back to the David Robinson Jr. game, murdered us. You hear me? Yeah. Last year, Michael Mayer murdered us. Yeah. And we ain't talking about that. We talking about the tight ends literally came out there and murdered us. How do y'all feel about the tight end room that you have right now?
I feel like like he said, hello, Mason Taylor. But I feel like we might not have that proven superstar. Michael Meyer, even though he was a freshman 5-star recruit, you know what he was going to be. You know what I mean? The Tyler Eiferts, you know what I mean? All these, you kind of knew what they was going to do. We might not have that guy yet, but I think we have guys who can turn into that, develop into that. But I think we got 2 or 3 capable guys. Like Cole Taylor, he ain't no superstar, but he's solid. He's serviceable. He's gonna make plays whenever he's called to make plays. He ain't gonna take over a game, but you need a 3rd and 6 catch. He can make that. Gotcha. And Mason Taylor the same type of way. And then you got guys like Mashburn who ain't scared to get their nose dirty and block. And if need be,
Nick Storrs.
Yeah, Nick Storrs. And if need be, they might could be the second tight end on the 12 personnel, and be the backup option, check down kind of guy and make the most of it. But we don't have a superstar like what you typically think of when you think of Notre Dame. Proven, right? Yeah, because even Mason Taylor, the guy they talked about, not only is it, but like I said, Michael Meyer was a freshman too, but he was a 5-star. You knew what he was.
Like them freshmen,
but Brock Bauer, they were like Mason Taylor was like a 3-star. You know what I mean? So he wasn't as highly touted coming out, but
he does have the pedigree.
But he's showing that he can, he's capable of doing it.
Right. And I would also say, our offense, we have a lot of pieces to where we can move a lot of guys around and we can create those mismatches if they want to do that. Like they said, you have Besh, who you put him in the inside, he's killing your nickel. You know what I'm saying? You line him up on the tight end position, he's going to kill your middle linebacker. So we do have a lot of pieces. And for me, I would say whenever it comes to the tight end room, I'm just going to be surprised on game day because I don't know. I haven't watched practice. I haven't been out there, and a lot of these guys, I just don't know, honestly. Yeah.
How confident are you in your coaching staff?
As far as coaching or recruiting?
Because
they 2 different things. You know
I say coaching.
As far as coaching,
going into the game, if it comes down to head coach versus head coach, or coaching staff versus coaching staff, how confident are you in your coaching staff versus our coaching staff?
I'm not. Because I guess I've seen Brian Kelly damn near outcoached a few of our coaches. And even last year, I mean, you can't break down the Notre Dame FSU game. It was a lot of things that happened and went wrong. But, you know, Norvell, at this point, Dillingham left. His offensive coordinator, he left and went to Oregon. Atkins is our all-world ace recruiter, and he doing this thing on the offensive line, but he ain't calling the plays. Norvell calling the plays. So it's kind of like now we're talking about Norvell calling plays in clutch situations, and that has been a question in a few games, whether it's going for onside kicks, whether it's two-point versions, you know, whether it's personnel. There's been a lot of questions about that. So if that game is close, I'm going to lean towards Brian Kelly with that. But I hate to talk out both sides of my neck. If it is close going into the fourth quarter, I'm going to feel okay. Because I feel like if LSU was gonna handle our business, it's gonna happen soon. And y'all have seen FSU fold, you know, and if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen early. If we still scrapping and fighting going to the fourth quarter, you know, it's gonna get interesting.
Sure. That's good.
All right.
Well, I got go ahead, Pooh.
No, I just say I don't know what else we got. Ben, I don't know what they were scared that you know what I'm saying about you being over.
Man,
I got one for him.
Okay, go ahead, Daniel.
I got one for him. Ben, so Coach Norvell, in his off time, is he a preacher by any chance? Because I've seen some of his press conferences and
oh, I did see that.
They
had him shouting. Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm just gonna say that they say when your man was at Memphis, he was at Memphis.
Okay.
Now look. I said,
man was at Memphis.
I said this.
He was in Memphis.
I said that. I was like at first with the cornrows, I was kind of, you know, I was thinking it.
Yeah.
I was thinking it, but once I saw that video, I knew for certain he got a black baby mama.
Now when he was in Memphis,
he got a black baby mama.
And if anybody and all of us, he was in Memphis. He was in Memphis. You know what I'm talking about. So let me ask y'all this.
Shout out to Bill Street.
Let me ask y'all this: when you go into this game and you've seen what we quote unquote did against Duquesne, what are your expectations from LSU going into this game? Is it to focus more so on stopping the run or containing Jordan Travis?
Stopping the run.
Stopping the run.
Yeah.
He didn't honestly like.
He did.
He didn't 10 or 16, I think, for 169, something like that. No touchdowns. No touchdowns. Like nothing really is. I'm not saying he isn't good or nothing like that, but nothing he did yesterday made me say, "Oh, we can't let him beat us." You know what I mean? It was more like, "Hey, don't let these running backs run wild on us."
Right. You know, and I would say too, Ben. I don't know if you watched the UCLA versus LSU game last year, but going into that game, our deal was we thought we had more talent than they did, but they whooped our butts up front. And if that happens, it's gonna be a long day for us. and we'll control that line. Yeah.
And I'll say one of my last questions for y'all is, you know, me and Tony talk all the time. But how do y'all feel about Jaden Daniels? If tomorrow, which we all expect him to be named as a starter, how do y'all feel about tomorrow? Because I would tell, I'm gonna tell y'all this before y'all answer. A lot of FSU fans was like, "Oh man, he trash, he inaccurate, he this." For the last 4-5 months, I was like, "Man, give me Miles Brennan. He's a statue. Give me him." Because if you go and you look at the last couple of years, how we've done with mobile quarterbacks, we made and shout out to Dave. Dave already know Malik played in Birmingham. He's from Birmingham. He's a Birmingham Alabama product. Dave has coached him and everything. We had Malik Cunningham looking like, you know, because again, we have struggled with mobile quarterbacks. So for me, I was not enthused about him leaving. I'm like, hey, man, look, y'all around here talking about Jaden Daniels inaccurate and this and that. I'm like, bro, with them receivers, that's a whole this thing.
I've been a Jaden Daniels fan since 2019.
So you already know.
When they were talking about him coming to LSU, and I started seeing his tape that he's inaccurate, I didn't see it.
Me either.
He
not to that degree.
No. He phenomenal. I thought when he came in, I was like, okay, this is the starter. I immediately thought that, but again, you know,
I would also say too, I'm pretty confident in Jaden. I think he'll be fine. But I'm also confident in Garrett Nussmeier. For instance, if they say that they want to put Nuss in. Nuss is not as athletic as Jaden, but he still got some wheels.
He's not a statue.
He's not a statue. And not only that, a lot of people don't like the fact that this kid is a gunslinger. I like it. He reminds me of Johnny Manziel a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I like him.
That's a conversation we just had last week. That's not Johnny Manziel wasn't a gunslinger though.
Yes, he was.
You don't think so?
No, he was.
You don't think so?
Yes, gunslinger.
The way he used to just throw it up to Mike Evans.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a gunslinger,
with him just throw it up to Mike Evans is like, go get it, bro.
Hey, that's what I told you. Mike Evans got 80% of Johnny Manziel yards that year. All he did was throw it up to him. That's all he did.
I mean, but that's almost like a gunslinger mentality. Like, you know what? I'm going to throw it to you. I don't care who the hell is on you.
Right.
You my guy. I'm going because it was almost like
my thing. I get what you're saying. My thing with gunslinger is more like double cover, trying to fit it between, in a window between two guys on a slant. You know what I mean? Or on a post, trying to fit it between, Brett Favre type. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I trust my arm to throw it in between you two guys that I can get it there. That's kind of how I look at a gunslinger, not throwing up 50-50 balls.
But let me tell you, but you know what? Ask Auburn fans since they watching about gunslingers. Ask them about J-Boo. You know what I'm saying? Because when we had Calvin Benjamin, we didn't care. We didn't care. That touchdown that we hit to win a game, it didn't matter, man. They had Chris Davis on us. You already J-Boo knew what time it was. Once he lined up and he saw, he like, you know what? I'm throwing it up. You already know he's finna go get it. So it kind of like you said, you can view gunslinger from multiple ways, you know, and I'm with you. Like, hey, when he had Mike Evans, Johnny Manziel was just like, yo, go get it. I know you're gonna go get it.
To me, it wasn't gunslinger as much as it was just effort. He down there somewhere, you know what I mean? And like gunslinger to me is like what Tuck said, it's trying to throw a ball through a car window while the car moving. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's what gun. But
what I think about it too is just not somebody who's not afraid to let that thing go. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means to me. But you mentioned Winston. Winston, Florida State product, and I'm hoping he has a good season this year. You have any expectations for your guy?
I definitely do. I mean, if you look at what he was doing last year, look at what he was doing last year before we got hurt.
Yeah.
And this is like, and that was without Michael Thomas.
Right.
And he was doing what he was doing. And now you give him Michael Thomas, you give him Olave,
and
Kamara's not suspended now.
And Jarvis Landry.
I'm just saying, look.
And a coach that ain't gonna hold him back offensively.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, when you look at the numbers, and even when people talk about his last year in Tampa, I mean, he threw how many of them in the section? He threw 30 touchdowns too.
That's right.
Like everybody can't, even though he threw
and for 5,000 yards.
And for 5, you talk about the picks, but
everybody he was blind.
Throw the TDs.
And he was blind. I always thought that
he was blind. He been squinting since he was at FSU.
Yes,
he been that ain't even that new.
Somebody said that he didn't really try to steal them crab legs. He just didn't know that was the end sign. He couldn't see the exit sign. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, come on.
I mean, we all know Publix have been giving that man them crab legs. That one day. You know what I'm saying? That one day the manager
you had that. Now you had that one security guard who loved their job too much.
Too much, exactly.
Right.
Well, Ben, look, it's been great.
Before you go,
I'm sorry.
What up?
I need a score prediction.
Give me FSU 27-24. Fitzgerald gonna end that bitch in the dome. The last time I was with a kid, the last time I was in the dome, I was there. I'm a 49ers fan. The last time I was there, I watched Robbie Gold walk us up out of there with a field goal. I'm taking Fitzgerald to do the same thing.
Boo.
Give me FSU
tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes.
27-24.
I like it.
Neither one of us getting a 30.
Nah, okay. Yeah, I'm good on
I
that.
knew it.
Well, listen, Ben. I don't know why they were so nervous to have you on here.
They know better.
I know they.
I think you did a good job, Rip.
They know how to act right in front of company. They know better.
I loved it, man.
But I will say, I have seen you in action.
Exactly.
So I understand. I understand.
y'all got a lot of people. Y'all got a lot of eyes. Y'all do Twitter Spaces. Y'all got a lot of eyes. Look, bro.
That boy said he on his best behavior.
I had a whole page. You feel me? I had a whole, you know what I'm saying? I had a whole page. You know what I'm saying? I was ready. You know what I'm saying? I know how y'all get down, man. So y'all went from the corner me. I know.
Wait. Tony came. He said Winston stole those crab legs for Mia Khalifa.
And he did because, you know, she said the whole team out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Man.
I don't know who she is, so I can't relate.
Look
anyway, hey, so the producer said I love being until that exact moment. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna be in New Orleans this weekend, man. I'm gonna get there Saturday, man. So definitely want to link up with you guys, man.
And man, we'll be in that thing, bro.
Like I said, I'll be there Saturday, man.
Ryan said all the good guests have one bad say. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. Yeah.
So what? So before I go,
what
I need score prediction from y'all before I go.
All right, LSU 48-0. No, I'm just talking. Nah, I think it's gonna be. I realistically think. I'm thinking it's like. I'm gonna say 35-24.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go 34-21.
Okay.
I say 35-14.
Oh, damn, the disrespect. You know what? Y'all let me know if y'all do. Y'all let me know if y'all do an instant reaction pod. I will be at the hotel. You know what I'm saying? With the hotel Wi-Fi after the game. Because if not, I'm gonna be sipping anyway. So I will be at the hotel. I'm gonna be in New Orleans.
Let's do it, bro. We're gonna be there.
For sure, bro. For sure.
But all right. Again, Ben, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our man, Mr. Ben Dennis, aka I am DJ Double Dose from the Down South Football Podcast.